bbc.co.uk/Berkshire. It's complicated, this story, isn't it, about the Slough School? Let's tell you a bit more now about Hizb ut-Tahrir and whether this organisation actually does pose any genuine threat. How worried should we be if the allegations made yesterday turn out to be right? Now, opinion on how extreme this group is divided, to say the least. Many experts think they do have pretty worrying doctrines. Much of the information used by the Conservative Party came from a think tank called the Centre for Social Cohesion, who published a report about Hizb ut-Tahrir's activities a month ago. Hannah Stuart is one of those behind the report, and she's with us live on the show. Good morning, Hannah.
Good morning.
Can you, from your point of view, give me a perspective on why we should be worried about Hizb ut-Tahrir and what activities they're up to that should concern us?
Right. Well, Hizb ut-Tahrir is a very worrying group. It's not a terrorist organisation. Our report makes that very clear. However, it does support a violent ideology. As I said, it's a revolutionary Islamist group. Its ideology is essentially on the same spectrum as groups like Al-Qaeda. Their end goal is to create an Islamist state. Now, there is a key difference between Al-Qaeda and Hizb ut-Tahrir. Their tactics are different. Al-Qaeda will use, obviously, force now. Hizb ut-Tahrir do not use force now. What they want to do
Al-Qaeda have killed thousands of people. Hizb ut-Tahrir sit round and talk about it. That's the difference, isn't it?
Yes, exactly, except that the ideology is exactly the same. And Hizb ut-Tahrir, whilst in this country they may sit around and talk about it, but in other countries they're actively trying to instigate this Islamist state. For example, in Pakistan they're attempting to infiltrate the military in order to stage a military coup. This is their overall aim, to establish an Islamist super state in a Muslim-majority country that they call the Caliphate, which will force its citizens to adhere to an intolerant strand of Sharia law.
Leaving people's political views to one side then, when we're talking about a school that's properly registered and inspected by Ofsted and where no worrying messages are being given to the children, that's the findings of the Ofsted investigation that's now been published, why should we be concerned?
I think we should be very concerned. I mean, as Farah Ahmed said, she has admitted that one of the 4 trustees is a member of Hizb ut-Tahrir. Now, trustees, according to the charity regulations, have to have a very sort of hands-on guiding role in what the charity does. So I don't see how her ideology cannot influence the school in some way. Let me put it this way. Would we be happy if the government was funding a charity set up by members of the BNP that ran a school?
It's not particularly helpful to the cause of this argument that almost all the facts, actually, the kind of niggling points of detail around what Cameron said in the Commons yesterday turned out to be wrong.
Yes, that is very, very regrettable. I think what's incredibly regrettable is that both political parties are using these inaccuracies now in order to sort of obfuscate the issue, which is simply that. Government money, wherever it's coming from, it's very regrettable that the Conservative Party didn't read the report in full and see actually where the money came from, but that they're using this to essentially hide the fact that, you know, this is happening and public money is being used to fund a school, that we should be really worried about the ideology of the trustees and potentially worried about what is being taught to the children.